you're watching the RM show on social media, but also on TV and radio. This is Roger Muntu, the host, and my guest today is Andrew from Eccodek. I want to thank Andrew for joining us today to kind of have a little talk about what he does and know a little bit about himself. Andrew, I want to thank you so much for the time that you are giving us today. I know it's been a pain trying to get hold of you, superstar.
Well, we only have hamsters inside our computers in Canada, so, you know, if they're not up for the job, there's nothing I can do. It's on their terms.
Nothing you can do. You just got me the little intro there. You are Canadian of origin, and you work as a musician, as an artist. You have over 20 years experience in the industry. And tell us a little bit of our viewers and people listening to us, Andrew. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me again, brother. This has just been fantastic. And yeah, it was a hill to climb to get to this point, but we're here.
We're here. That's the most important
thing. The internet is not dying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a musical family. My mother is super musical. My father's a music lover, not so much a player. My brother was an awesome club DJ in Toronto in the 80s and 90s. My sister is a choral singer. So she sings in choirs and yeah, so we, home was a really musical environment. And I mean, it could be J.S. Bach and Beethoven, or it could be Pink Floyd. It could be Sly and the Family Stone, we got it all. And so when I got to the university level, I decided I wanted to pursue music as a vocation. So I studied music at University of Western in London, Ontario, and flute was my major instrument. Wow. And it was a full-on classical program. So yeah, I worked very, very hard at being an instrumentalist, and then realized I'd never make a dime sitting in an orchestral chair as a flute player. And just loved pop music and rock music, and I love contemporary music so much that to me, that was sort of, I got all the tools and then I got to throw them out once I'd learned them. And then after university, I decided to, because I was really fascinated with the recording process. And so I went to a college in the same town that offered an amazing recording arts program. So I did a year there and learned a whole bunch about audio production and mixing and producing and working with artists, and that was so that was sort of like mid-20s, and then it was like, okay, man, go find a job.
Wow. And you did, Andrew, and you really found a job that really helped you travel the world or work with different artists, all from all over the world. And I'm glad the way you putting it for us, and the way you going back even from your family and how everybody was involved somehow with music. And from what I understand, is a little mix of different genre of music. And that takes me to my next question to you. Would you say that that's what made you, be also open to so many genres of music?
100%, as much as sort of classical music was really sort of the seeds of my childhood, that was really because of my mother. She's a pianist and plays pipe organ. So that's where all that was coming from. But what I could hear, as I started to be exposed to like composers and then I discovered like contemporary composers, like modern classical music, which is so weird and so awesome. And so much more colorful in terms of the sonic potential of the orchestra. I think it just all fed into this incredible dietary lust for not only different ways of approaching composition and instruments, but also like texture. And so, I mean, I have a deep love of ambient music, and which is my Peppermoth project, and that really is as much informed by, people like Brian Eno and Harold Budd and Daniel Lanois as it is like Eric Satie and Claude Debussy. Like I completely hear those worlds always mingling. So something like Eccodek, when I started to discover cultural music, And I use that in the worst, broadest sense that you can, because we're still trying to figure out what to call world music, of course. Jesus, seriously? Um, that to me was just an extension of all of that curiosity about, just different forms and different types of music. It was like, wow. So Pakistani music is a little bit different than Indian music, which is different than Persian music, which is, and it just the borders just kept getting further and further out, the fence line of my curiosity. So yes, you are completely right. All of that early kind of staging of, well, maybe you'd like this weird record.
Yeah.
It totally laid the seeds for, just an endless appetite for beauty. And if it's beautiful, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah, if it's beautiful, it's beautiful. And talking about beautiful, Andrew, I'm 52, man, and my music is the 80s, man. And when I hear your music, you take me back, bro. I'm serious, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. When I listen to your song, your tune, I'm like, oh god, this guy is taking me way back, way back. Would you say that the 80s was a big influence also in your style of music?
Heavily. So this is kind of funny because I keep reading all these studies about the music you listen to in your early 20s sets the
tone, pretty much,
the frame going forward. So I was completely I'm 59. I'm going to be 60 in 2 days. And
you look 40. I look way older. Maybe because you have hair and I don't. Maybe that's
I put the make me look 40 filter on. So like when I was coming into my own as a young adult, it was, the first Culture Club records, Pig Bag, Rip Rig and Panic, The Clash. And then I discovered all the Jamaican music that was coming into the UK because I was so tapped into the UK. And like I still love Duran records. Those early Duran records are
who
awesome.
Doesn't?
They're fantastic.
Who doesn't, man?
There's great song, great performances, a great band, it's a great concept. I love the whole thing,
Exactly.
So I have no shame about that, period of my listening.
Right.
But I also, that's when I heard the first records from Real World, the World of Music and Dance, the WOMAD, the first compilation that Gabriel put out. It's got Yuzu and Dur on it. It's like the master drummers of Jujuka. It's just like, holy smokes.
Wow.
I had no idea that this was all out there as well. And, I've discovered Afrobeat and, the Cooties, like all the brothers and, just it honestly, it kind of kept reseeding the land.
Right.
All of that. So the 80s for sure. I love all that processing and like those crappy drum machine sounds. Like, man, give me that stuff.
Now that would also take, because and I'm glad you're mentioning the legends, Bob Marley, Youssou N'Dour, any of those things.
LKJ and
right.
The dub poets. Oh my god.
But then I go, and you already responded like at least half of my one of the question I was going to ask, because I was like, what is this kid born in Canada knows about Youssou N'Dour, knows about Indian music, knows about? I was like, dude, I was so impressed and looking at your bio, and I'm like, whoa, and that's the reason why I'm saying, and those who are listening to us from social media or on TV, whatever, you will understand that we will have episode with this man, because there's no way I can have a whole full interview with Andrew. No, we call them episode or something with Andrew.
Hilarious.
So then the question is, and you just answered part of it. You start discovering all these other artists, but you went way out. You're like Indian, Pakistan, Africa, or Mali, all these places.
Yeah.
What did you see that really kind of attracted you to pay attention to more of this music? What was it?
Bienvenue à bord.
Les passagers de RM Show sont priés de monter à bord.
Hey, Salut les amis, ici Roger Muntu de VOA Afrique, chaque soir à 20h temps universel. Pourquoi? Venez voir avec moi. Au programme de la bonne musique. Des sujets débats socioculturels. L'interaction avec nos auditeurs en Afrique et partout dans le monde. Let's go! RM Show, c'est notre communauté. RM Show, c'est chaque soir à 20h temps universel sur VOA Afrique. Peace Africa!
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. I think the simple answer was, well, the grooves are incredible from all those traditions, you know. Like I try to find, follow tabla players and the forms. It's like I have no idea what these guys are doing. I don't know what the forms are, but I know that it's incredible and the intricacy and it sounds very intentional and very like it's a discipline. I get that these players they've studied in such great depth, and yet I'm listening with that sort of naivete of somebody who didn't grow up in Yoruban culture or Pakistani culture, or, but I'm so drawn to those grooves and rhythms, and then just the voices. The first time I heard Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, I thought, I don't even know what I'm hearing. I don't know what this is, but it is jaw-droppingly beautiful to me.
Right.
And technically mind-blowing because, being a classical guy, I worked really hard at technique.
Right, exactly.
One of the things, it's one of the things we had to bring as far as our education,
Right.
So I could hear the complexity and the sheer jaw-dropping skill that they had. But really, it was just the way they would shape melodies that were so not Western traditional melodic, intervals and the approach to form. It just, again, it was just like, well, if there's that, then, well, what do people from Constantinople sound like? Like I should probably check that out too, and I guess, because Peter Gabriel was such a huge conduit for me, and I know he's a spokesperson in that way, and such a cultural maverick in that regard. I just trusted him. I just trusted everything that was coming out on that label. I'd see the spine, the Real Wood records, colored spine, all the he's got it. The colors match the continents.
Yeah.
And I just say, oh, that's another Real Word record. Okay, I have no idea what this is. I'm gonna buy it anyway and just check this out. And so it really was compelling to me, and again, just sort of, it just seemed to point me further and further down the road each time. I would say that, and I guess. I think the next thing that really happened was sort of what preceded the first Eccodek record. So the first album was called More Africa in Us, and the how that album even began was because I befriended a guy who was a Rwandan refugee. He escaped
and that was in Canada.
That's right. He had come to Guelph, of all places, which is where I am. Just west of Toronto, an hour, and he'd settled here and was working at the radio station, campus radio station. I went up there one day to deliver a solo album, and I got chatting with this guy, and super nice guy, Ignace Nchirwamaboko, if I get that right. And he was looking to make a record and found out I had a studio. And so we ended up working on his album, which was kind of like, it was like this weird hybrid of Western jazz and like full on Kirindese, I'll get it wrong, but Rwandan music. His particular, he's not Tutsi. Anyway, this is a long time ago, man. So forgive me if I get the details a little wrong.
No, it's okay. If he's not Tutsi, he's probably Hutu then.
Yeah. And so I'm listening to these these songs that we're recording, and he's like, okay, I have to put another guitar part down. I'm like, Ignis, like there's 5 parts already.
So was it he was also playing an instrument as well?
Yeah, he was an instrumentalist. Yeah, right. But he was really into jazz, so he was like play everything super fast. But he was really good, and you know, it was like a classic moment, Roger, where he's like, yeah, I just have to put 2 more guitar parts down, and I'm thinking, there's already 6 tracks. Like, how many more parts can there be? And he said, just trust me. Just trust me. He said, it'll all line up. You'll hear it.
Yeah.
It'll all stack up.
Yeah.
And like, sure enough, we get the 6th track in the can. I'm like, oh, I totally get it. I totally get it. Wow. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So we finished his thing. And then we were doing a bit of an exchange. And I said, listen, man, there's this one track, Bodhicitta dub. That's what it became for me. I said, can I just take a chunk of the vocal and I want to try this idea out. And this was the beginning of the Eccodek world fusion concept.
Like that was the beginning.
Dub, electronic, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of ambient. And I had this wicked drum groove from another session. Another buddy of mine played me this awesome pocket. And so I literally I screwed around with the sampler for a couple days and was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, this is so good. I played it for a few friends and like, dude, what is this?
It. Yeah.
This is amazing.
Right.
And so I just kind of went from there.
Oh, wow.
That was it. So I thank Ignis for giving me sort of the seeds of, you know.
But at that point, you were, and I understand he came through with, you know, maybe pounding that international fusion. But prior to that, were you already kind of like trying out the music from all over the world prior to?
Not as much. Okay. I was just listening to a lot. Yeah. And I'd done a lot of, before this, I was with my brother in a studio in Toronto, and we were doing tons of remix work.
Okay.
That was work we were getting from the major labels.
Right.
It was super fun, and I loved it.
Right.
And it was all about the groove and all about the pocket and all about the funk for me. And, but then I had to I needed to leave the city. I just had to get out of the big city and go somewhere and do my own thing. So it took a little while to kind of find the template and the vibe, but boy, oh boy, like once that first track was in the can, it was just like, I see the future.
That was it. That was it. Done deal. It was a done deal, man.
Lots of bass, lots of bottom end, you know, and the diasporic traditions. I'm like, I wanna collaborate with more people. And so every record has been a successful kind of like, we just push the fence line out a little further. I mean, it's really me. I just push it out, and then I bring people in, and they become friends, you know.
That's your personality, man. I think that's your personality has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, well, I get excited, and people, you know, everybody loves to feel good in this environment, right? Because this can be pretty depressing in here when it's not happening. So if the vibes feel really positive and everybody feels connected musically, I just feel like it's the easiest job in the world, you know? But it can be the hardest job.
It can be hard, of course. Now, I know you guys in Canada are big in the music festivals and things like that. Now, what would and help my ignorance here, does Eccodek have been able to bring that fusion of international musical artists in some festival in Canada, or?
Totally, yeah. Okay. We've played on, I would say not all of the major festivals, but most of them. Yeah, it's really sort of a bummer with this record. It's probably our best record so far, Recalibrate, and we just decided not to tour.
Okay.
Well, just the pandemic, and
yes, that's true. That's true. A lot to do with it.
Yeah, we had to start looking in September for the summer because that's when everybody's booking. And, and it was just.
And then you have all those things where, like, okay, COVID went down, COVID is coming back up. COVID.
I was just like, I was losing my mind, you know, and I thought I can't hire my manager back on and say, pull the plug 3 months from then, after he's, got us booked. So. Yeah, and I was also, it was a little challenging to get a few of my singers too, because like Kieran Alawalia, she's based in New York. She's a friend. Charleston Okafor, he's in Cleveland. My man Oramayan, who's on the first track, he goes to Brazil for 6 months of the year. So it's like, okay. So guys, we're trying to tour here, but you guys just keep going to your, other countries.
To other countries, exactly.
Anyway, it became really challenging, but yeah, I miss it because the live thing is fantastic, and it totally works in the festival environment.
Yeah, it's a different feeling.
It's just made for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How many songs you guys have on this track right here? I mean, this album. This
album has nine tracks.
9 tracks. Got
yeah.
you. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 8 on the vinyl and 9 on the CDs. So.
And different languages, or all English, or all blues?
Yeah. I mean, there's Oramine is singing in Yoruban and English.
Yeah.
Charleston is singing Igbo and English. Onkar is singing in his native South Asian dialect. Kieran's singing in Pakistani. Gosh, who else? Brenna, who does the Balkan track. That's actually a Croatian folk song, which we completely rejigged. Who else have we got? John Orpheus, my buddy John Orpheus. He's from Trinidad.
Right.
So he sang in English, but he ended up on an Afrobeat tune, which was like, it was just so good. It's like, yeah, okay.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Who cares?
It's fine.
Right? Fine, we'll take it. Just give me whatever.
Yeah, I think that covers everyone. I'm always so terrified I'm going to forget somebody.
You'll forget somebody. And then they go, darn you, Andrew.
Yeah, I saw your interview. And
yeah, you forgot to say my name.
You specifically forgot me.
Wow, this is great. But can people actually, is this on Spotify yet, or any other social?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Apple Music, Google Play, you name it. Any platforms. Yeah, it's Eccodek Recalibrate. Yeah.
Okay, it's called Recalibrate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Eccodek Recalibrate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And why Recalibrate? Who came up with that name?
That was
That must
me.
be you.
Yeah, no, it is me. Yeah, it's funny, we've been all about the flowers and the Buddhas and the, and this one just felt like, man, we've all had a pretty rough go. And I was really clear, because it was a 7-year break for this project. I just, I developed the Peppermoth project, did 4 records. It's like, okay, I want to get back to dancing. I want to get back to joy. I want to get back to, making this a real global village again on this record. And I thought, we need a reset here. Everyone needs a reset. We need to live for love and live for live, So I don't know. I just kept thinking, what captures that sense of we're gonna change, pull focus, start from scratch, reboot, whatever your term is, and just recalibrate just came up one day, and I'm like, that's it.
This is awesome.
We're gonna reset the compass. We're going true north to good times. Even if it all goes to hell in a hand bucket again.
God, so creative.
Yeah, it's just like, and it is. It's like such an up record as you've heard. It's there's not too many dreamy tracks on it. Maybe the last one with Masa Vadat. That was the other singer I forgot, the Persian singer from California, and that's just so trippy and gorgeous and transcendent. I thought, oh well, that's still Eccodek, so can't make it all bangers. You can't make it all.
Yeah, man. So let's if things were good, if things were fine, and we're getting toward the end of our little interview here. If things are good, would you see the whole? Well, as you just mentioned, some people are going back in the country for 6 months or whatever. But would you love to tour with them?
Oh, I'm missing it so badly because I'm watching all my friends tour this summer. And Gowdy, I just saw he's driving to Glastonbury, and all these. I saw Shane Cootie's touring. I'm like, man,
God.
Okay, what did they know that I know? Exactly. Yeah, no, I am. I'm really missing it. I miss playing with the guys, and it's tough to sit this one out, but
it is.
I honestly, I'm coming around to the idea of, okay, so if we can't do it as a full, 8-piece, which is probably how it would go out, 8-piece band, maybe there's a way we can do it as a live PA or something. I don't know. I'd love to find a way to get on a stage and just rock the party.
Just rock the party. Yeah, I tell you what I would love, and if we had time, but we don't have time. But if we had time, I'll say, Andrew, grab that guitar, play something for us as we're watching you live. God, that's some other technical. Next time, man. Next time, I'm gonna get you on that one.
That'll be my bleeding heart folk music side. You don't want that.
Whatever you can do. Look, I'm a music lover, kind of like you. I like to explore. I like music is music. Music is just it's a different language. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at you, like that. The way you just told us how you fell in love with other cultures and music and instrument and things like that. It's you don't understand the language, but you understand the language of music. That you do.
I do. Yeah. Yeah, like we do in my live room is just beside the control room here.
Right.
You know, every Wednesday night I have played with this group of guys.
Right.
I would say it varies anywhere from 4 to 8 guys.
Right.
And we've been playing together for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't gig. It's not a band.
Yeah.
It's a hang. And we play, you know, Neil Young.
Oh.
We play Nick Cave.
Oh, man.
You know, like Emmylou Harris.
Man.
You know, Gillian Welch. We play, you know, it just doesn't matter. Terrence Trent D'Arby, you know, it's just like, it doesn't matter. It's all about the songs, right? And if it's, you know, Sam Cooke, like whatever, right?
You guys are lucky I don't live close to you guys. I'll be like your cheerleader, number one. I'll be just coming and watch you guys. That's all I'll be doing.
Yeah, it'd be like, come. Oh, it's Roger again, guys. It's okay if he comes in? Yeah, it's okay.
That's him again. Let him in. That Roger guy.
Yeah. So for sure, I mean that's all about the strumming and just the singing. Like it's literally about. Well, I remember reading an awesome piece on Brian Eno, and he says, "I love to sing. I love to sing," and it's like he loves to sing a cappella. Like what?
A cappella.
That is amazing, and he's not a particularly great singer.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He does
right.
everything else amazing, but and I found that so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like. They just like he loves singing gospel music, you know, and I'm like, wow. So there it is. That's
right.
as you're saying, music is music. It's the same currency. It's just you know what who's on the head of the coin, you know. Anyway, awesome.
Anyway, that's awesome. Look, I gotta let you go. My time is up. I know you have things to do. As I said, we'll have more episode with Andrew to talk more because I would love to hear more about Eccodek, but that will be probably next time. We'll have you. But Andrew, good luck, and thank you so much for giving us this time to have a little chat with you. We'll be listening to this album like song by song. You know,
brother. Thank you.
We really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, and you take it easy, man.
I will.
All right, later. All right.
Bienvenue à bord. Les passagers de RM Show sont priés de monter à bord.
Salut les amis, ici Roger Muntu de VOA Afrique, chaque soir à 20h temps universel. Pourquoi? Venez voir avec moi. Au programme de la bonne musique. Des sujets débats socioculturels. L'interaction avec nos auditeurs en Afrique et partout dans le monde. RM Show, c'est notre communauté. RM Show, c'est chaque soir à 20h temps universel sur VOA Afrique. Peace Africa!
Bienvenue à bord. Les passagers de RM Show sont priés de monter à bord.
Salut.